Climate change is a phenomenon that is affecting Africa much harder than in other regions due to the vulnerability of the communities and the weakness of the economy. Most communities in Africa depend on nature. They have agriculture or livestock or fisheries or forestry or hunting or, nature is their GDP. So when nature is affected by climate change, as is the case right now in Africa, it has multiple effects on communities. So my main concern is whether these communities will have capacities and the resilience to resist to that wave that is coming from outside. And it is very important to consider how this can be averted. Now, many people in Africa think that adaptation is important, and yes, it is. And I think it is critical that Africans develop their coping strategies so as to reduce the possible impacts of climate change or the impact of climate change on their life. But at the same time, mitigation is equally important. Think about energy. Up to 650 million people in Africa have no access to electricity today. And yet, this continent has the largest opportunity in terms of renewable energy. Solar energy, wind energy, and now hydrogen is coming to knock at the door. So that is mitigation, because the population of Africa will grow. It is now 1.4 billion people. It will grow to 4 billion people by the end of the century. These people will have access to energy, no question about it. The question is, what kind of energy are they going to have access to? So if you promote renewable energy now, you would avert more pollution coming from these people. Secondly, land restoration is a very important mitigation effort in Africa, because the more you restore land, the more you have forests and wetlands and ecosystems, the more you have carbon stored back to the soil. So when you restore land, you actually fight against climate change, and therefore Africa, whose contribution to global emissions is only 4% today, they can have actually net zero by 2030 if only by nature-based solutions, even not including the renewable energy that I talked about earlier. So Africa can be a positive emitter in the world in the future, but it has to be well organized and well planned. And it is therefore critically important that the international community and the financial systems understand this, because it is not charity. We are protecting ourselves. We are protecting the planet. If you have 4 billion people, 3 billion of which do not have access to clean energy, they will have access to dirty energy. And probably Africa will become the largest polluter in the world if everybody else is rushing to net zero without taking their needs into consideration. So you asked me about the challenges. I'm ending my response to the hope that I have that something will be done, that everybody will understand that investing in renewable energy in Africa is good for Africa, but it's good for Europe. Think about the energy crisis that Europe is faced with at the moment. Hydrogen can come to Europe through Africa. Solar energy can generate, you can generate as much energy as you need from the Sahara, and that can be transported to Europe. So it's not only for the needs of the continent, but it's for the needs of the world. So investing there is a smart solution to all.